Hello there. What we really need is a 3-tier puddle alert system. Welcome to Mugdock Country Park. Today we're just doing another autumn walk in the woods, and it's only about a week since I did a similar video but in another location at Lennox Forest. And in that last video I said at the start that I think I've been a little bit premature as far as the leaves and the trees are concerned, and the colour that they change in autumn. I felt that it hadn't quite changed yet and I was about a week too early. Well, right now I think is the actual peak of the colour of the leaves on these trees. You know, I think this is them at their best. But what usually happens each year is I kind of look out for when the leaves are going to be at their best. Maybe I see them and I think, we're almost there. What I'll do is I'll go up the next day with my camera, I'll go out and take lots of nice photographs. But what usually happens is during the night there's a bit of wind and you get up in the morning to find that all the leaves have fallen off the trees. They're now lying on the ground and you've blown it for another year. So there's not been much wind in the last couple of days, and thankfully they're still up there. So the plan for today is nothing too taxing, just to have a bit of a wander through woodland. The primary goal being that I just want to try and show the colours of the leaves on the trees at their best. Because this very much is the peak of autumn in woodland. There's no sun at the moment. I don't think we're going to get any, but I should be able to tweak this at the editing stage to somehow bring the colours alive. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. So that's a plan. The secondary goal is that at some point we will hopefully have a look at where the largest elephant in captivity once slept. So if you're ready for an adventure, let's go. There's folk wandering around with cups of coffee in their hands. Kind of Costa coffee. Where they got them, I don't know. It's like wandering down some sort of main street in the city. I'm hoping that the cafe in the stables is open. I'll pop in there for something to eat. I mean, I actually asked somebody who was carrying coffee. They didn't know if the cafe was open or not, which begs the question, where did they get it? Where is there a Costa coffee shop out here in the middle of the woods? So this is Mugdock Loch, and that's Mugdock Castle you can see way over there. This loch I think was much larger a good while back, and then and to a lesser extent latterly, it afforded a good natural defence for the castle on at least a couple of sides. As I think I've said previously, the more natural defences you can incorporate into your castle, the less work you have to do to build stuff to defend your castle. So it makes a lot of sense if you've got a big loch nearby. So we'll head on past Moot Hill, where lots of punishment was meted out in the medieval period, and then we'll see if the cafe's open. Well, we're really just beside the stables. They're just over there. Used to be the stables for Craigend Castle, which we will have a look at afterwards. It's just a ruin. It's not even a castle, but what the heck. And this pond, I think, is where Big Charlie used to bathe. To be honest, I'm not sure whether it's this pond or... we're going to go up onto Gallow Hill shortly, and I believe, I've not been up there, but I believe there's a smaller pond up there. So I don't know which pond it actually was. I suspect it was this one. And Big Charlie was the largest elephant in captivity. Because between 1949 and 1954-55, this was a zoo. Craigend Zoological Park. Very short-lived venture. And at various places, hi guys, you can see, on you go, yeah. At various stages you can see where the animal enclosures used to be, just kind of hints of shapes in the rock where there was once an enclosure that would have contained an animal. Lentil soup, a bowl, the colours of autumn. So this is the stables, as I said earlier. Once the stables for Craigend Castle, and where I'm eating the soup right now would once have contained a horse. There's quite a bit's preserved here. These individual kind of divided up sections. The area that Big Charlie, the largest elephant in captivity, once slept, I don't think it was in this bit, I suspect it was in it's part of the stables complex, but it's just in a corner. It's now a kind of cafe come restaurant. You used to be able to actually see the individual sort of sections where I strongly suspect is where he slept, unless it was in one of the other parts that's now, some of these bits are shops and various things, but we're in the right sort of area. Lentil soup is just what you need at this time of year. Lovely. I was thinking the other day, it seems to be the case that as a guy, as you get older, you somehow lose the ability to shave properly. You see old guys in the telly, they've missed bits. There's little tufts here and there, and bits where the hair is longer. And I don't know whether it's maybe a deterioration in eyesight so that you can't see what you're meant to be shaving, or, and I suspect this is probably more likely to be the case, as you get older you develop more of a lackadaisical attitude where you don't really care that much whether you miss bits with the shaving. I hope I never reach that stage. Anyway, I'm going to have my soup and then we'll have a look at Gallow Hill, where in the past terrible things happened. See you shortly. I'm not sure if you would have heard much of what I said in the Stables Cafe there. The acoustics in that room were quite bright and every sound was bouncing off every wall. I mean, essentially that's a part of that stables block would have been where Big Charlie, the largest elephant in captivity, would once have slept each night. When I was in the cafe, I asked permission if I could film myself eating the soup. You know, it's right to ask permission. I explained that I would make sure no one else was in the shot, and quite often I do that if, you know, it's the right thing to do. But it's always an awkward moment or two. You know, I'm saying, is it okay if I film myself eating my soup? Which clearly sounds bizarre. And the person that I spoke to turned round and said to somebody else, is it okay if this guy films himself eating his soup? You know, it's almost a somebody called the police job. We've got a soup eater on the premises. But, you know, we got there in the end. So this is Gallow Hill, a part of Mugdock Country Park that I've not been in before. And I was talking to a guy there who was wandering around picking up bits of litter and stuff. And I was saying to him how every time I'm in this park, I always think, I've never seen so many dogs in all my life. There's a lot of dogs in this park. And most dogs are alright, but occasionally you'll get one who kind of takes a dislike to you and who will kind of growl and snarl and get very aggressive in a quite frightening manner. And he kind of suggested that it's maybe the tripod he was carrying, because he gets a similar reaction from some dogs, and he reckons it's because of the sort of stick, the grabber litter stick that he has. And I think there's a certain amount of truth in that. The dogs don't know what that is, and they see it as a threat to become aggressive. And in one of Bill Bryson's books, he suggests a similar thing, but he relates it to walking sticks and suggests that these dogs perhaps only attack old folks. And the guy I was talking to said that he gets a worse reaction from some dogs when he has a wheelbarrow. You know, like some dogs must have a kind of wheelbarrow phobia or something. But anyway, as I say, this is Gallow Hill. As I said earlier, not far from here you've got Moot Hill, where in the medieval period punishment was doled out to folk who had committed certain crimes, and if your crime was of a sufficient severity, you would be executed. You would be taken a short distance from Moot Hill to Gallow Hill, and if you were a man, you would be hanged, and if you were a woman, you would be drowned in this pond, which is a very sobering thought. And as you look at the water, it's absolutely black. It must be very peaty or something, but it is black. So anyway, we'll leave Gallow Hill and we'll see if we can find the remains of some of these animal enclosures just at the rocky kind of edges of the hill. Well, this is clearly one of the animal enclosures just on the rocky sides of Gallow Hill, and you can see just little bits of evidence that that was the case. You've got a couple of bricks here, obviously at one time supporting something that would come along the front. You've got a kind of flat concrete interior, and there are various bits and pieces. At the top you can see there's something that indicated that there would have been something over the top, sort of enclosing this small rocky bit. I don't know what would have been in here, but you know, it's just nice to see a little bit of evidence. I mean, there's precious little remaining of that short-lived venture, the Craigend Zoo. It'd be very easy to forget all about it. One of the things, I mean, there was probably a few reasons why it closed. It is said that it was difficult to get to. Bus services were withdrawn. It was just hard for folk to get up here. There were also just perhaps one or two kind of health and safety issues. At one stage, a young boy managed to get his hand through the leopard cage, and the leopard chewed his arm. The boy actually lost his arm, which is clearly a major issue. How he was able to get so close to the animal enclosure to allow him to put his hand through the bars, you know, should never have happened. But you know, it closed anyway. Craigend Castle down here, which is now a ruin, I think 2 or 3 rooms in there were used as tea rooms when it was a zoo. Craigend Castle, as I say, it was never a castle. It was built, I think, 1821 or something like that. Maybe had a few kind of castellated or battlemented bits at the top to make it look castle-y, but it wasn't really a castle. That said, I'm not sure what the dictionary definition of the word castle is. Maybe it just needs to look castle-y to be a castle, but it was never a defended structure. Mugdock Castle. So that was Mugdock Country Park, and perhaps a little bit about Craigend Zoo and Big Charlie. I hope I've shown off these autumn colours at their very best, because they were absolutely stunning. I'm Eddie Burns, take care, and I'll see you again.